Let me go ahead and flip you around and we'll walk through the gate. As we go through, my gardens have gotten quite a bit bigger. Check this out. I have cucumbers coming in. Look at my basil. It's getting bigger. And I had some exciting things happen. I've got tomato plants, oregano, which will, once I let that go to seed this year, which I'm going to let it go to seed. And then hopefully I will have more oregano. I've been watering probably more than I should. I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 tomato plants in here. Look at my carrots. And I have some weeds too. I'm growing some amazing weeds. I have like Cadillacs of weeds. I've got onions in there. I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if it's a squash or a pumpkin. It might be a pumpkin, to be honest with you. But there are pumpkin seeds in there. I've got more tomatoes, this tomato plant. I've got cucumbers. And look at these awesome onions. Look at that one. That was getting really big. I'm excited. I've got bigger carrots. This in-ground garden, I need to spend some time out here. The sun is very strong. But I have been very lucky. Very, very lucky. Because I got a new patio cover. And I am so excited. New windows and a new patio cover. So I'll be building that out as things are getting settled. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. While I'm in my little area, this is where a trampoline used to be once the tornado took it. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do something with it. I've got 1. I've got 2. I've got 3, 4, and a whole bunch in the middle. These are all going to be cantaloupe. Hopefully they grow up and they do great. I'm excited over by the window and the wall that I have amazing growth on my rosemary. One of the exciting things about getting the patio cover is I get a grill, and I cannot wait to have some rosemary, roasted potatoes, and a steak. Look at my sage. This sage plant is, I don't even know how old. I think it's probably 7, 8 years old, and it has just kept growing back every year. It is fantastic. My oregano is looking healthy and wonderful. These are an embarrassing story I need to tell you. I ripped out so many of these thinking they were weeds. Come to find out they're peppers. So I'm hoping I get a good harvest of jalapenos or bell peppers. I don't know which one. I think they're jalapeno peppers. I've got more tomatoes in here. Look at the flowers on that. That's so exciting. Now it is hot. So luckily next week it's going to cool down some. My rain bucket, I moved it on this side. Over by my fences. So I planted in all different kind of soil types. This is just our red clay, and I thought I had some extra plants. So I would just go ahead and throw some seed down, let it grow and to see what happened. And ultimately, it looks healthy. This is going to be, I believe, these are all going to be cucumbers. Here, I've got potatoes. I have, of course, more peppers. This is going to be like a pepper belt and potatoes. Peppers and potatoes. A lot of peas. I have some onions coming up. So I have onion sets in here. I've got, this is like that garlic plant. I had some mint in there. I think I killed it. I think I'm the only person on the planet that can kill mint. I think I just did it. I was very excited though because I knew I planted some seed over here for basil because I harvested this seed from organic basil I had last year. So I saved seeds and this is the second generation of that plant. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants on this side and I have all that on that side. Once I'll let them grow up over the summer. We'll use it and we'll make it bushier and bigger and all of that. Then I'll let it go to seed in the fall. I'll harvest those seeds or I'll save those seeds and then we'll do that. Obviously, this plant has decided it has a mind of its own, and I'm just like trailing it out, letting it do it. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to let it go and see what happens. See if it's a giant snake plant. See if something grows on it. And if it does, we'll harvest it. If not, there you go. That is technically an Easter lily, but we had our tornado this year and it didn't happen. Potatoes, potatoes, potatoes. I've got more. Again, I'm trying to move it out a little bit because these are going to be cucumbers. And this, again, is over just in an area that used to be a compost pile. So the soil here is really good. Like, you can step on it and it's spongy. And so that helps. I've got these potatoes. This is a rough area. So I just thought I'd put them in there to see what happens. I'm going to dig them up and see if I have any potatoes there. I may not plant there again because, of course, it's by that post. This was another compost pile. So I just leave it and water it and kind of see what grows. I allow volunteers to do what they want to do at this point. I think it's freedom for them to be able to kind of make their own way. And if they grow food, great. If not, great. It's up to them to do it. I mean, look, I've got this little plant here. It's in the middle of, like, by a cement post. So you can't tell me that seeds don't want to grow when they just grow wherever they want to sometimes. I've got my compost piles. I've got 2 or 3 of them. Obviously, this is closed, but there's nothing in it right now. I do have some flowers that should be coming up. I watered over here. I'm going to let them grow and see what happens. My wife wants some wildflowers. I want to see if I can even do it. And I may or may not. I may just leave it and then next year let it grow. I'm going to let this area just be wild and then cut it back when I think it's definitely know it's a weed and not a flower. I grew quite a bit of, like, monkey grass. I need to honestly put some in pots and let people have it because I grow a lot of monkey grass. Okay, let me show you probably what I call tomato palace because I have some serious tomatoes coming in. Onions, tomatoes. I need to grow garlic. Then I have the trifecta of everything. This is going to be a flowering plant. We're going to see that one come up. These tomatoes are all volunteers. This whole circle is all volunteers. I'm letting them grow. Some are already, like, flowering, which I'm going to let that happen. And then I'll pick them and let them grow some more. And I'm just going to put a cage around it when they get big enough so that it contains them. Because I think they're indeterminates. I think they just keep producing. However, look at this. I've got onions. It's like rows of onions. I already have fruit on this, and if all these flowers become tomatoes, I will have so many tomatoes on this plant. Like, so many tomatoes. I believe they're all going to be little cherry tomatoes. I had a branch break, so I've had to fix that. But you can see already, like, if you look in there, look at the tomatoes that are in there. Look at the tomatoes on that one. So I caged it today and I put a shade cloth over the top just because it's so hot that I don't want the plant itself to get too warm. But this is one plant. This is one tomato plant. If my other tomatoes do this, I'm going to have a plethora of tomatoes. I won't be sad because I love to work with tomatoes. I love making sauces and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's going to be really, really cool. And again, look at my awesome patio cover. That is fantastic. And it is about 4.5 inches thick. It is insulated. And it makes it beautiful when the rain comes on there. It all washes down to that one corner to go in my rain bucket. It is fantastic. So when I look at my garden and think about my garden, there's a lot of things I think about. I think about the fact that, you know what? I have weeds. I have all kinds of things that are happening, and it's been a wild season with the tornado. It's been a wild season with construction and just a lot happening. But I have food being produced, and I'm excited as it keeps producing, and I get things out of it. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm looking forward. I need to buy seed for my fall crops, so make sure I have all my root vegetables and all that, so I can plant in like October and put them in the ground, pull some of this out, and then have it over the winter, and then get ready for early spring and start doing more rotational crops in here, because I want to go ahead and keep adding to our plate and keep adding to our food production here, so that I don't have to go out and buy everything. That is my goal, is to be able to not have to buy everything, and continue to produce some and keep more of it here and make it be more grown out of my yard. I prided myself in not having anything in my yard, meaning there was no chemicals. I don't spray. I can come out here and eat a dandelion if there's a dandelion, because there's nothing that it pulls from. Now, with having contractors and other things here, I have metal shavings in there. I've got some other things there that I have to watch out for. So it'll take a couple rounds or a couple of years for some areas of my yard to get back to the quality of soil that I want. This is the second really intensive year in some spots, and the third in others, and I can tell because when I put my hands in the soil, if it is a soil that I've worked with for a couple of years, it is fertile, it is wonderful, there are worms in it, I can stick my hands in it and really just mess with it. If not, it's clay, it's hard, and I'm like in the process of putting organic matter in there, putting nutrients in it, adding compost, and just continuing to build that cycle, continue to build it. So I'm leveraging everything that I have here, letting the wildflowers go, so the pollinators are here, and just working with my garden and working with the things that I have available to me here in Norman. I'm in Norman, Oklahoma, so it is like zone 7B, I believe. And we have extreme temperatures. We have hot and we have cold. So you have to watch out when tomatoes, when it's over 90, they don't produce as quickly, so you got to cool it down again. And then you're working on bringing those temperatures down so that you get more production out of it. In the fall, you'll get a second crop, so you don't rip them out too early. Because when it cools down, they'll produce some more. So that is very, very cool. Onions, I've done better onions this year than I've ever done before. I have bigger onions. Part of it, I think, is because I'm not eating the tops off of them. I love green onions, so my son and I like to come out and just chomp on some onions. So those are all things that we think about while we're thinking about sustainability and our house and putting food on our plate and being able to grill. And I love the idea of doing that. I also have at least 2 mulberry trees here. And I don't mean bushes, I mean mulberry trees. So I will pull that fruit off and every year use it in yogurt. I have a young lady that cuts my hair that's Iranian, and so she remembers eating those mulberries when she was very young, so I gave some to her. And it's a chance for me to share what I can grow here and what does very well in my backyard. I think that's important. I think that I also gave away some of my rosemary plant because there was a guy that wanted to see if they could root it. I gave away some of my herbs to people. It's just a chance for me to share what I have because I have an abundance of these things. So then it's a chance for me to share and then hopefully get that back. And that I think is something that I find when I give and I share, things produce. And so I see that circle of life and that circle of everything that we're doing is absolutely critical to what we want to happen. So I hope that you've enjoyed this short tour. It's not very long. And I will do another one next week, and it'll be more regular because, again, my yard won't be under construction, and I'll be able to kind of keep you abreast of everything, watching everything grow. And if you've been watching my videos from the beginning, they were like nothing. There was nothing there, a little bitty, not much. We are growing a lot every week because the weather's turned warm, the soil's turned warm, they're getting down into the nutrients they need. And so it'll be a need to watch it grow and continue to produce over July and August and September and October. Our first frost is the 1st of November, so I have to prepare for that. So I keep like pulling things in and doing more. I will be saving seeds. So if I find a plant that I like, or I go to the farmer's market and I eat something I enjoy, I take the seeds from it, put it in a baggie, mark it, leave it in a cool, dry place, and then plant it. And so then my goal is to, again, mark down everything that I have, where I have it. I did good and I did bad. Why? Because, again, I forgot that I had all these pepper plants everywhere and ripped them all out. So there you go. Everybody learns, and I went, oopsies. Flowers are not my jam right now. Like, I don't grow actual cut flowers very well. I think I'm just not good at it. But wildflowers are perfectly fine, and they're doing great. I planted clover in the ground, and it was fantastic because I've seen bees on the clover. Again, that means they're in my other big flowers in the morning. hopefully pollinating and making fruit. I also will use a paintbrush and help pollinate if I need to make sure that I get the fruit production that I want. So you can do that like in a little kid paintbrush and just move it from place to place. You essentially become the bee. So hopefully this is helpful and you've enjoyed this tour, and tell me what you're growing. Let me know what you have an abundance of, what you're excited about, and what you're thinking about the summer. What did you do to cool off? What do you do to cool off? I will also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I will add in my 5 ways to cool off in Norman on here on hot days, because I think that's going to be an important part of what we're doing in the next at least couple days. So have a great day, and I can't wait to see you soon.